Good evening. Welcome to the Siddha-Vetha webinar series. Today, um, the speaker is Jennifer Ka. Jennifer has a BA in psychology from UCSD and a MA in East-West psychology. She has a yoga and alternative therapy certificate from DSVV and is a certified yoga teacher from Shivananda tradition. She currently works with the yoga and a research assistant at the Siddha-Vetha Center. She's dedicated to the study of yoga, its teachings, and how it can benefit the world at large. So today's topic would be modernizing ancient knowledge. She wanted to give tips and techniques for everyday life, which she implemented and been practicing. So I welcome Jennifer.
Thank you, Dr. Sean.
Welcome.
Okay, so since Dr. Sean has already presented about my bio, I can tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm Cambodian and American, so I was born in America. And Cambodian's mostly Buddhist, but I've adopted a lot of Indian practice. And it's nice to be born in America and learn a lot about Indian philosophy and how it can really help our society right now. So being born in America and knowing how America has been working, I was born in the fast-pacedness, the fast food industry, the school system, and I saw there was a lot of issues that we have. And seeing a lot of suffering and sicknesses and disease around us, especially from my family who've gone through genocide and trauma. The Indian practices and ancient knowledge is really a key that we really need in America. And I thank Siddha-Vetha for giving the opportunity to share and preserving this ancient knowledge and driving to share more of this with the rest of the world. Okay. So modernization is the process of adapting something to modern needs or habits. So ancient knowledge has always been there and it will always be there, but the times are always changing. So we need new ways of how to apply these practices and principles that can go with the times of right now. And to highlight first the beauty in unity and diversity. By unity in diversity, we all know, well, most of us can understand we're all part of one consciousness, but we manifest in different ways, which brings us color, vibrancy, and character. I mean, you know, I manifested as Jennifer or this body in this culture for a reason, and other people have as well to share what they know, to the upbringing, their experiences. And we should celebrate that diversity, but not attached to it, like attached to I'm Cambodian, attached to that I'm a woman, but just celebrate that I am this manifestation. So if we recognize the levels of being part of all one and also celebrating the diversity, we would feel more connected and we wouldn't feel so separate and disconnected or alone. Because the root of disease, I feel, or it says in the scriptures too, is the separateness from the one consciousness. And so many people feel alone these days because they don't know they're connected, or they don't have community, or they don't have the reflection that they are connected to this bigger whole. So if we celebrated unity and diversity, there'd be much less war, suffering, and hate.
Are you sharing any slides, Jennifer?
No, I didn't get to prepare any.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm just talking for now, but maybe next time. But if we allow this ignorance and wrong perception to dominate, it would be hard to see that unity actually connects all of us together. So in terms of the modern times, our society has been working on overdrive. And it's developing so quickly that stress has become a big part of everyone's life. Everyone, I think, is feeling some sort of stress due to this rapid world we live in with technology, science, globalization, all of it, population. And with this, disease and other issues are also coming very fast. And we all have phones in our hands now, which has become like an extension of our mind. And because we use it so much, we've learned to become dependent on it. For the mind, it's already drawn to the external world with all these temptations and stimulations of the modern world. And it's so easy to get drawn to these things. Our senses want to grab onto the external and experience it. So it becomes difficult to build that discipline and we easily give into the habits that we already have. That's why we see so much anxiety, depression, anger, broken relationships, ailments, chronic conditions, and cancer growing at a rapid rate, especially in the US. I mean, it seems like we have everything in the US in terms of perception of the outside world, but a lot of us are not happy. So I think that's where ancient science can help us. I mean, the knowledge is already there. We just need to apply it in modern terms where people can understand and practice, just more simple ways. And I found that in my own life. In my own life, I practice these following techniques from ancient knowledge in my everyday life. Because I personally practice my sadhana every day to keep my prana high. Because if my prana is low, it's easy to get depressed. It's easy for disease to happen. And just like those negative thoughts easily come. So I don't have slides, but maybe I don't know, I can share this with you guys later, but I have different right habits to practice every day. So the first one is right exercise. Especially asanas, just movement and stretching is essential. We need the body to move and flow freely and use the faculties of the body. Because right now we just use our hands to type. And if we're not using all of our body, then there's a lot of stagnation. And a lot of us are sitting in the office these days. So a lot of people are getting sick just from sitting too much. And this doesn't allow our blood to flow. This doesn't allow the digestive system to work. And a lot of the diseases are rooted in the gut and our digestive system. So if we don't have proper bowels, the toxins get stuck in the body and ferment, and it starts to ferment, which is not good for us at all. So to keep the body moving keeps the toxins flowing out, which increases circulation and intake of oxygen. So in modern life, like we feel like it's hard to exercise, but we really just need to go out there and do it. If it's just walking or doing some quick sun salutations in the morning, especially when the sun is rising, will give you a big boost of energy, and it will clear you, and it will help you throughout the rest of the day. So right exercise is very good for overall health and to keep longevity. And we already know this, but we need to like learn how to implement it and commit to exercising every day, like eating and sleeping and brushing our teeth. The next is right breathing. So I don't know if everyone knows, but the breath is related to the mind and in emotions. And when we're sitting all the time too, we don't really use our full lung capacity. And if we don't use our breath correctly, the emotions can easily take over. Like when we're angry, we go, it's really fast breathing. Or when we're depressed, we sigh. It's all connected together. And when we're happy, the breath is very still and peaceful. So when we practice pranayama or these breathing practices, we are able to manage our emotions. It teaches to be aware of our breathing. So, and especially if we're doing only shallow breathing from our heart and not from our stomach, it's not full breathing. That's why we practice full belly breaths and all these other breathing practices. So we can allow the toxins, the circulation to move, the full lungs to eliminate whatever it needs to eliminate. So it can be associated with our memories too, like in our samskaras and our past experiences. So these breathing pranayama, like Nadi Shonin, Anuloma Viloma, Kapalabhati, will clear us, will make you a bit lightheaded, but it's clearing all the toxins in the body and calming the emotions and managing the emotions all together. So I personally practice asanas in the morning, along with Kapalabhati, which is quick exhales, and alternate nostril breathing. And you can go at your own pace. And doing it throughout the day is also beneficial to give you that break, to keep you focused and concentrated. It'd be good for students, especially, to do this while they're studying, like to studying nonstop. It's very, very, very stressful. And I know a lot of kids, and I work with kids too, and it's easily to get stressed with all the competition. But with breathing, you're able to manage it. And we need these type of techniques in our school system, I think, to keep our kids less stressed out, because they shouldn't be this stressed. Okay. The next is right relaxation. So if we never get time to relax, what happens? We burn out, nervous breakdown, violence. Look at all these school shootings that are happening around us. It's all due to stress, not learning how to handle stress. America, or I don't know if America in general, but in our school system, we haven't learned how to deal with stress. We don't know how to relax. We don't know how to find peace. We're not taught that. So we do need more of this happening in our school systems. And I think it is circulating a little bit. There's some integration, but it's very urgent at this time to have more relaxation for students. So I think we need more time to relax throughout the day. And most people think a break is like going on their phones, checking social media, or playing games. That's a break. But that's not actually a break. We need to rethink what a break is. And a break is a break for the mind and body to just be. And one of the best techniques for relaxation is to lay in Shavasana, or corpse pose. You can do it for 5 to 30 minutes. If you have the time, you can do a lot longer to let your whole body reset, because it comes when you do Shavasana, it takes you to that resting space. They say it's even better than sleep. So allowing yourself to do Shavasana, which most yoga classes incorporate, is to bring you that rejuvenation and that peace. And it really does. I practice this almost every day as well. Right eating. So right eating is a big one. Our eating habits are very important. What you eat, it becomes you. If you know the terms, there are tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic foods. And these type of foods will either disturb your mind or give it peace. Like sattvic foods are lacto-vegetarian, filled with rice, lentils, fruits and veggies, and occasional milk products, mostly A2 milk or A2 products, if you're drinking milk. But simple diet is best, and occasional fasting is good rest for thy digestion, because it's working hard all the time. Eating, especially if you're eating improper times and not giving gaps. It's really taxes not just your stomach, but your liver and your whole body. Especially also if you're eating processed foods or dead foods, that's also very hard to digest, and it will take a toll later in your life. So, cooking every day. I cook every day. My breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think I eat out once a month. I barely eat out, because I realize, people who cook this, they put their energy into it, and then I ingest it. So there's a whole process to eating. So, I try to do mantras when I cook, and do prayers and blessings when I eat, and try to eat slowly, even though it's hard for me. Sometimes my vata comes and I eat fast, but it's a practice. Eating is a divine practice too. So we should appreciate what we eat and be happy, be in a happy state of mind when we're eating it. So, cooking can be a fun thing to do too. Just eating out all the time, it's not good for the body because you don't know what they put in it. At least when you cook, you know what you put in it, you know what energy you put in it, and you can start sharing it with your family, and it can be a new habit that you build. It just takes some time. So focusing on sattvic foods are very good because tamasic and rajasic can make the mind kind of work very quickly and make it not focused and dull and more lazy, which is not good for the whole meditative and yogic practice. So if you're really busy, you can, and you work 6-8 hours a day, you can still wake up, early, wake up at 4 a.m., cook the food, pack it up for the whole day. There's always ways. Use a rice cooker. I found different ways to do it. I use my rice cooker. I use my steamer. I wake up early to make my food because I know it's important what I feed my body. So if there's always a way to make it work, even in this modern, fast-paced society. Right meditation. So meditation is essential. It's not just food or water gives you energy, meditation does too. If we don't think we have time for meditation, it's really not possible. You can meditate for a minute and it will still make a difference. The problem is we just don't commit to ourselves to do it. Because sometimes with all our rajas and tamas energy, the rajas makes us unfocused and we can't stay still, or tamas is really dull and lazy for us to meditate. So it's difficult too if you don't have that right state of mind. So you do need to work on that proper eating and the proper practice of doing yoga to meditate. That's why we have Ashtanga yoga and the 8 steps to get you to meditation. So, but meditation is very important to build new samskaras or mental impressions to replace our lesser wanted impressions and habits. Because if we want to build new habits in our lives, meditation is the key to do that. For people who tend to drink more alcohol or who have eating problems or codependency, when you meditate, you are choosing a different action. Instead of acting and reacting and doing another action that actually doesn't serve you. So meditation builds that awareness to understand and know that you're a seer in life, that you are the oneness, that you are like an audience watching a movie happening around you, like this drama is just happening. It helps you to make better choices, not to indulge, and build discipline for the mind. For the mind is a tool that can lead us to suffering or it can lead us to liberation. And if we just allow our mind to do what it wants, it can grab onto the external. And then the roller coaster will just begin. You'll just start hanging onto the situations, the people, they did this to me, this happened to me. And we hang on to those situations and people, which just takes us into that drama and we become that. When we're able to look back and have a space and see, oh, it's just happening, we're just able to accept it and let it happen and make right choices. As they say, you be in the world, but not of this world. So I wake up and I do 20-minute meditation morning and night, and I try to do it throughout the days, taking little breaks between my work, because my mind does get tired out. And if I keep moving all the time, then and not have a break, I just keep doing things too fast and I become careless. So when you just take those little breaks, it gives you some more patience to go in and to know it's okay. Just things will just happen, and time is not really urgent. We always say, oh, I don't have time, but there's always time. And actually when you meditate, you have more time. So wake up and commit yourself. Know it will help you in the long run. I mean, it's hard to stay still, but when you just do it, you build that confidence that I did it, especially when you're consistent every day. The next one is right company. So it's so easy to, fall into what your friends do, what your family is doing, and you start to mimic what they do too, because what your mind is surrounded by, it starts to imitate. You hang out with certain friends, right? And you start to adapt their habits, or you start to adapt what they say. So it's easy to fall under the influence around you, including what you see on the internet, television, and advertisement. Your mind starts to mold into that. But when you surround yourself with right company at all times, which you can do with, media, YouTube, there's knowledge, there's wisdom, there's mantra music, there's learning something new. That's right company. You have to surround yourself at all times with the right company to keep you in that sattvic state. And build a community like Siddha-Vetha. Build a community with us and sharing the knowledge, doing seva, doing volunteer, doing research and work that is actually very important for what we need in this world. Instead of wasting our times, we have to learn how to time manage more and focus on what's important in our life rather than wasting our time. Because we're not here for a long time, so might as well leave something for the next generations where they can use it. So in essence, build a morning and evening routine for yourself. And even when your mind doesn't want to do it, you just do it. Like Nike said, just do it. Don't let your mind take over and not allow you to practice. Keep that consistency and determination, and don't lose faith in the practice. Remember why you're doing it. I do it because I'm tired of suffering and falling into my own habits. And I see that it took me to the same place every time. Like, why am I always in this, circle of suffering and doing the same things? I wanted to be free, and I also wanted others to be free. So that's what keeps me going to do my practice. That, there's preventative medicine, that we doing dinacharya and waking up before 6 and sleeping at 10, it seems like a hassle in the beginning, but in the long run, you won't be in the hospital. You don't have to deal with medical bills. You don't have to deal with that suffering of all that pain just by doing some tongue cleaning or doing jalneti or, making your own food. It becomes a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle, and we need to promote more of this lifestyle in different places, in the media. Use conscious media to share it with others. So, I really look forward to hearing more about what you think and what you are practicing. And I hope you make a sankalpa in your heart to start taking right discipline and build practices slowly to be integrated into your daily life, to keep you healthy, happy, and strong. Because what you do, it really inspires people around you. When I started my practice, I started helping my mother, who's now doing more yoga and some breathing, and she's eating more vegetarian food now. So you really have the power to influence other people around you, and you keep that flow going. Again, I thank Siddha-Vetha for everything they do, and I hope you guys, everyone, get more involved to create a community and share this knowledge with everyone else.
Thank you.
So Dr. Shannon, if everyone want to share.
Thank you. So we'll open for some questions, if you have any questions. Any questions, you can raise your hands and I will unmute you.
Or can talk about what do you think can help with the modern world, right tips and techniques, how we can build more community. I want to hear your thoughts too, whoever's in the participating.
Any particular questions for Jennifer? You can type down or okay. Dr. Abhinav has a question, so let's maybe okay. Yes, Dr. Abhinav, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So first of all, I want to compliment you, Jennifer Ka, for a very positive, thought you have shared that in these days, even if you are alone by yourself, when we say satsanga means the good company and positive environment you created, even by listening to mantras or listening to motivational videos on YouTube, I think that's a very positive thought. Many times, I am always um, you hear any motivational speaker and everybody says avoid negative people, and somehow I always struggle with this, that I feel nobody is negative. That is where my struggle lies in hearing these people. If they think about somebody as being negative and we need to avoid them, I feel that is they are coming from a feeling of deficiency in some ways, that they are not so positive themselves, that they are not so empowered, that they feel that if they are surrounded by negative people, they will become negative themselves. So
Yes.
while I don't disagree that surrounding yourself with positive people will raise your overall positiveness, and it all depends on the state where you are, but I want to hear your views on that. A lot of people say avoid negative people, and what are your thoughts on that?
Your question about like if you're with negative people, you become negative, or how people shape into the people around them? Hello, Dr. Abhinav? Dr. Sean?
Yeah, sorry, I got muted somehow accidentally. I muted myself, I think. I looks like my
Can you
apologies.
just repeat the questions
Yeah,
again?
my question is, lot of motivational speeches you hear, you have the speaker say that avoid negative people, okay, and you give a very positive thought that even if you are alone, you can listen, you can create your positive audience even by listening to motivational speeches on YouTube. My question to you is, first of all, it is all our perception that if some people are negative or not, because I believe they are reacting from their circumstances, they are at a different position in the evolution process, right? So I think it is negative of us to think of themselves as some other people as negative. But let us say that you are annoyed by their behavior, they are talking down on you, they are staring you down, or they are not talking positive overall about you or about the environment, and they are always criticizing. How would you deal with that? How would you maintain? What is your advice and tips to maintain positiveness even in those circumstances and situations? That is my question.
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, I had to deal with that a lot because I usually get affected by negative people so very easily because I'm like usually very positive, but then people are still negative to me and I wonder why. And exactly that, it's because, I'm making a judgment toward them that they're negative. And now I'm doing more of not judging people and just seeing them as they are, not their negative or positive. That's just how they are, and accept them. I think we feel certain things of like we suffer and we judge them, then it affects our own mind too. So I think if you just accept and love them, like when people are mean to me or they don't like me, I send blessings to them. And maybe it's in my karma, they don't like me or something too. But I just send blessings, and eventually they start being nice to me again, or they start being more cordial. But I think, I find compassion. Like you said, they're coming from a place of deficiency. Maybe they don't have a lot of love. Maybe they don't have a home to come to. And I feel blessed that I have these things in my life. and all I can do is send blessings and love to them from afar. Because if I'm negative back to them, it just creates a reaction of more negativity. So even if they're unkind, just act loving, act kind, and fill them with, fill their glass and heart with more love, that they may feel fulfilled one day, that they'll be okay. So I think about acceptance and less judgment and blessings and love toward that person. Does that help?
Oh, yeah, of course. And I would like Dr. Sean to react to one particular observation. Once my friend told me that we can train our mind, we can train ourselves to come to a point that no matter who interacts with us and how their interaction is, the reaction from us is always positive. That means the other party is always going to take a pleasant experience from interaction with us. So I mean, I believe it may be hard, but we can get to that point of training our mind. Dr. Sean, what do you think?
Well, what I think is all of us will have situations, three kind of situations where um, you can control something, partially control, um, things that you cannot control, completely cannot control, and things that can be totally controlled. So these situations will be there in any circumstance.
Right.
For example, at a certain stage, you feel that you can sit down in a butcher shop or in a graveyard to meditate. Nothing happens. So that is a mindset. It doesn't matter for you where you can meditate, where you can get energy. Place will not matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a temple or it's a graveyard or a dead body or anything. Energy doesn't matter at all for certain mindset. That needs a lot of energy training for an individual to keep that energy level. But mostly, I mean, the way our psychology is designed is such that we cannot maintain that kind of an energy level, and that's why we are going for secondary objects such as temple structures or energy, a puja room in the house, or some other forms of energy, that's consecrations and some energy designs that we do, home designs or something. These are secondary sources. When we go down, this will help.
Yeah.
So that's your own energy. It's like a bank. So you're putting that, and so that you can get energy. So so we cannot completely deny that external energy will not influence you. Even for a yogi, energy will influence. There are stories where even how tantra and other things, people have been, even with low energy, low frequency, they get affected, and then they realize it's a very minimal effect, and they will be able to recover from that. But it's even in a yogic state, it is completely, when you are engaged in the modern world, when you're cooking, when you're eating, there is, you're tasting, your sensory things are involved. So basically we will have fluctuations in the mind, and therefore in general I would say, keep the mindset like nothing can affect you. In no situation you will be able to sit down in the fish market in Calcutta and and you can meditate. That is the mindset we need to train ourselves. But at the same time, if the situation is so bad, if the whole area is bad, it's going to influence in a longer term. If you don't care, you would not change. So this change comes because we are caring about something negative, and that's why we evolve. That's what evolves us. Because if there is no negative, you don't care about the external world. So we see that, okay, this is the behavior, and how do you face it? So the thing is that negative is there. You cannot deny negative is not there, right? Somebody hurt, and whether you hurt or somebody hurt, it is a feeling, and it hurts. Really, if somebody shouts at you, it hurts. But the reaction, how do you react? It is a truth that it will affect you. But when you um, do not receive it in a way that you can suck in and penetrate, give them, it is a healing process for them. When they shout, it's like, okay, I'm going to receive it, that's fine. But you become a infinite space where you can suck it in. doesn't it doesn't matter. But same time, there is a narrow region between self-respect and ego. So when it comes to self-respect, somebody shouts at you for anything, will you really just tell, okay, I'm going to accept it? Or are you going to, at certain point, you know be little rebel, little bit rebellious? You could. There is nothing wrong, and this is also in ancient literature. We see that, in different situations we can differently act but not react. What act means is that we are aware of, but we are not going to be reacting, but we're just aware and only changing the frequency of our the words, the sound system, to tell them, okay, we have to be careful, this is a human being and he's going to respond. To that extent, we should also have self-respect, and this varies from the vata pitta kapha people, because the moment you're a pitta, you tend to react real quick. For example, a vata could be a very flexible, like you and I can be very flexible, right? So that is a vata nature, which will allow a little bit, but then you lose self-respect after some time by allowing everything. Everybody is good, everything is good, will also can also ruin. So there is a little balance needed. So that's what my view. So you may have different perspectives. So thank you for the time. Let me unmute you.
Yeah, no, that
Yes.
is very good. That is very good observation, and I agree with you. There is a thin line between ego and self-respect. At every point, you must keep your self-respect. That must be given. But it is like,
Yeah, I think we are losing your voice.
sorry. I said it is the way you perceive the situation. Sometimes you can feel, as you rightly said, Dr. Sean, you can feel like a victim of the circumstances, victim of the situation, in the sense that everybody is yelling at you and you are not reacting. And others may start perceiving you also as like that. But that doesn't mean, it doesn't have to be that. But I think internally, if you are strong, you will not feel yourself as a victim.
Oh, yeah.
That's also a very important aspect.
Right. Definitely true.
Yeah.
I think,
Thank
yeah,
you.
because for think about this, every household, you always, when I used to be in, families, everybody, most, Asians are from big families. So we talk about goodness about our own families, we say we are the good people, we're the best people, and the neighbors are always doing something wrong. Think about it. So every neighbor is a bad person. So that means we are also bad. So it's a very relative. Nothing is a truth, and what we think is just that the duality will exist. And this kind of duality will exist for us to make differences, because if this difference doesn't exist, we cannot exist as we become the true consciousness. So this, to be a human being, a certain level of duality will always exist. You will come out of your culture, so you talk about, we used to talk in India about, oh, British colonized big time and we hate Britishers, all the Britishers. Well, that's okay. When you come out of this British thing, then we'll talk about, oh, I am a Tamil guy, you're a Gujarati guy, you're a Telugu guy, so this difference of thing, or I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Kshatriya, these differences will come. And then if you really break down that, then you will have villages, you belong to this community, and then you break down your family. And then at the end, if even with your whole husband and wife, you'll have duality. Your days, I am this. So you don't go by, consensus with any of this. And finally, if you're alone, it's your mind. You still have to. You didn't understand yourself. So this will not end. This duality will not end, and until we reach. Once you reach, you don't exist. That's it. That's the zero. But till then, the duality will exist, and it is fake. And that's how you can compare. Okay, this is hot, this is cold. Yes. Well, there is hot and cold doesn't exist. It's relative, but we have to make the difference. So that's what I think. There's a question for you from, I think there's a compliment from Arun Kumar. Thank you, Jennifer. Very inspiring speech. I also would love to make yoga as lifestyle, but my mind always blocking it with different ways. Maybe because lifestyle like brushing and others have direct and immediate effect. That's why we are following that. So through awareness, like you said, only make this a lifestyle. So once again, thank you, Dr. Sean and Jennifer, for such awareness programs. So this is from Arun Kumar and Ragbir. Okay, that's a question for me. Friends have been telling not to help people as they think people are using me. What is your suggestion on helping people? Well, I can take this quick, and you can also add on, Dr. Abhinav and Jennifer. So, why do you or don't help somebody? I need to help somebody, and people think, as they think people are using me. Well, when you're helping somebody, you have to identify where you need help. If there is a, help depends on different situations. So, what is help? Help. Oh, I wanted to help somebody. What are you going to help? Well, this guy is a friend of mine. He wanted to drink, but he didn't have some help. I'm going to get him some drink. It's an help. He's asking for help. Well, you helped him, but see, the thing is, what is real help is solving fundamental problems. If you can solve fundamental problems, that's big. Some people say yes, don't say no. That's not true. You have to say no to some things. You cannot be yes for everything. You have to say no to certain things. And not everything, you cannot help everybody. And we have limitations. Human being, we think that we should help everybody. And whatever they ask, we're going to do. That's going to exhaust you. And we have to know whom should we help, where there is a real need. So that judgment, we have to make judgment. You cannot say when you're helping, don't make judgments. No, you have to make judgment, because you're comparing, your time is precious. So you want to see where you want to donate. Whether I want to donate for Red Cross of people taking so many billions of dollars, or somebody who is like very small, they're doing real service. You wanted to give them some dollars. Yes, there is a huge difference between where you're contributing. So that makes a difference. So you have to identify where you wanted to help, and not just randomly help in terms of I'm going to expand my help and do everything to everybody. That's not way. You cannot do that. We all have limited time, and we all have families, and so therefore I think that's not a good way. But you should not block somebody helping people. That's not your business, and you should not do that. If somebody feels something and don't stop them, that is a sin. So people can help somebody. You can teach somebody in general what help is, but somebody sees what you perceive is different, because perception is different. You see things in a different. Whether somebody giving to a beggar can make a beggar beg more. Same time, somebody is thinking that, okay, I have a lot, but he has not eaten. That's primary for me. I'm not looking at. So the consciousness is what is important there. It's not the thing, the actions. It is the consciousness at that moment, what you think about that person, that impacts you. It influences you. It changes you, and you will have this kind of dual mind, whether I should give or you not give. That is okay to have, and depending on the situation, you will give, either give or not. So this will happen to everyone, and so you have to identify where to give, when to stop, and so that so that understanding is needed. Hope I answered your thing partially. Yes, you want to add something, Jennifer? And
I think in terms of help, yeah, like growing up, I used to always want to give and give, but it was like too much. And you have to use that discrimination and judgment of when to give and when not to. So I learned to do that later on through when I was doing yoga, because like maybe I was giving because I wanted something in return. But now that I purified myself more to not want anything as much from people, but just to give them out of my heart. And sometimes not giving to people is the best thing for them too, for them to learn. Or actually, sometimes I just act in the moment now of when to give and when not to. Somehow the wisdom comes of when to give and when not to give. But I try not to think I'm being used, or I really just try to think consciousness runs through me and they're giving it. I'm not the one giving. So when I take myself away from it, then usually when I'm giving someone, it's usually out of a good place and not a place of like, I want something from them, if that makes sense.
yeah. So this is Ragbir. Let me. Yes, Abhinavji, you wanted to add something? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I believe there are, as you know, in the process of evolution, one could be at a stage where you are one with the divine, and then you see that you are merged with everything, and you are all is in one. And at that point, you really do not discriminate. And as Jennifer also said that, you can be driven from your consciousness, and it will guide you what to do in the moment, whether to help or not. And you feel you are just the instrument, and you are not actually helping. Probably you are, as you know, it is said that your children come through you, but they are actually children of the divine. They are not your children. So you can be detached as well as attached at the same time. I think same goes here for help also. So in the moment, you have to be just driven by your consciousness, which will guide you to help. And also it has something to do with our means and capacity as well.
Okay. Thank you, Ragbir. Ragbir, do you have anything? Hello. Okay.
Hello, Dr. Shan.
Yes,
It's
yes.
me.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So it's coming,
I'm-
Ragbir. Okay. Okay.
I thank you so much for your help. And I truly believe what Jennifer said and Dr. Abhinav also said.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe in oneness, but my friends are telling me that like you should be taking care of the family also and kids also. So there was a little bit of my concern, and I was thinking, where am I going wrong? I truly believe in the oneness also. If somebody needs help, we should be there to help. So there was some conflicting thing going on in my mind, and that's why I thought I will ask. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I think you will have the awareness after some time of continuously giving to people help. You will definitely see the in a practical level we have depletions because in family life, as they were talking about in yogic life, when you're completely out of this, when you're away from family, then only thing you can give, there's nothing else to get, then it is possible. But in a family life you cannot do that. It is not going to help you if you're thinking that you're already a yoga. So yogi, like say for example, today every yogi wanted people to shift to a sattvic diet, and sattvic diet will not help completely because we need some rajovic diet, for example fermented food or spicy food for organizing or for moving. These kind of food are needed. So you cannot, in family life is very different from yogic life. So if you consider that you're completely a yogi, then it's a totally different story. Then you can apply all these things. But when it comes to family life, there is a real balance. We will have humiliated, we will have sufferings. Not everyone will think the same way, but that acceptance, you agree and live with that. So you will have limitations with your thinking too, but it is at certain point of time you will have to decide that that way, where you can completely take that. So that learning is missing in our, from how traditionally we have brought up in our system, the different stages of life, that is missing. And so therefore we are applying things in a wrong time. I'm not saying you should not give or something, but when, that is important. And also the mindset, you know if people are thinking I don't want to, I just hold it, they will not give. So that's a different story. So so thank you for bringing up this important question. Okay, so we have a few minutes to announce. Jennifer, you wanted to tell something, then we can announce our program. So do you want to talk about a little bit about the Siddha-Vetha courses that you have undertaken, and why do you think that the diploma will be important?
The holistic integrative diploma?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I'm really excited for the holistic integrative diploma. I really think it's, the movement toward yoga and holistic medicine is going to be growing very quickly in the next few years in 2020. So I think if people are interested in, more about integrative medicine, about healing themselves or healing others, or just in general about it, I think it's a great course for anyone to take, with great professors from all over the world internationally who are experts. And I think you could be part of this movement that we're just talking about today, and how we can implement these things in your own life and other people's life and keep that motivation going and flowing for everyone. So I think it's very important people participate in these. We need more people to be more interested, to keep the movement and momentum alive.
Thank you. So there will be around 25 professors from different institutes, all big institutes, join together to give this course. So we need all of your support by enrolling. What you can really get is to break the bigger picture. So far, people are talking about, courses in in the Western world, integrated, but it's not real integrated practices. So they are just a Western perspective is thrown over the global thing. Here, we're not doing that way. We're accepting, we are looking as it is. And that perspective of building a curriculum is very important. So we 18 universities are finding the first accreditation body also to form for the world for alternative education system. If anybody has an alternative syllabus, you could accredit with us. So that's what we are forming right now, so that you don't have problems anymore, because the 18 alternative universities are doing this together. So I welcome all of you to really um, come and join, look at our courses, how it works. You can do master's, PhD with jointly with different universities among the 18. So you can choose. I want to do with these 3 universities. These 4 like that. You can choose. So we are allowing to do that way. So you can be in multiple. And who is accrediting? All these universities are accrediting. So you don't have any problem. You can practice here in the United States or elsewhere in any other country. So we are also globally trying to connect European countries, Asian different countries, so that you can get from different countries, their accreditation and things like that. So it's a very global. So I request everyone to support this cause. It's a big cause. By enrolling into a course, you're supporting Siddha-Vetha Center into a different plane. Okay, so I thank you for your continued support, and thank you, Jennifer, for opening up a new topic for the youth, because it's very important. What you're practicing, what you're doing is really inspiring many people out there. So thank you all for being part of this program. I'll see you next week with a different speaker. So we're almost. Yes, go ahead, please.
I just want to end with the Triambakam mantra, so sending
Uh-huh.
good health for everyone.
Sure.
Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivaranam urvarukmye bandhanam nitya mukshya Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivaranam urvarukmye bandhanam nitya mukshya Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivaranam urvarukmye bandhanam nitya mukshya Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace.
Shanti.
Thank you. Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shan.